It all starts with an image. Beyoncé in that shimmering gold dress, standing tall while fireworks explode behind her. The world watches with dropped jaws as she moves with machine-like precision, like a goddess above it all. No flaws, no slip-ups, just pure perfection. But that image, that perfect, untouchable queen, Jason Lee is trying to rip it apart, thread by thread. And he's not doing it with rumors or shady whispers. He says he's got documents. Jason's not just another clout chaser tossing gossip into the wind. He's been poking at the Carter empire for a minute now, but lately his tone has changed. Less "I heard" and more "I know." And what he claims to know could shake the carefully curated Carter image like nothing before. We're not talking about a fashion scandal or a beef with another celebrity. We're talking about Beyoncé's son, Sir Carter, the twin we don't see. You ever notice that? Rumi pops up everywhere. Ivy Park shoots, Super Bowl cameos, even a voice on Cowboy Carter, but Sir, he's almost invisible. Fans have clocked it for years. The kid is like a ghost. No album features, no paparazzi moments, barely any birthday posts. It's not just privacy, it's surgical removal from the public eye. And that's where things get weird. According to Jason, it's not just parental caution. He claims he's seen sealed medical records, real ones, that paint a completely different picture. Records that allegedly say Sir is on the autism spectrum. Now, if that's true, it changes everything. Not because there's anything wrong with autism, but because of the insane effort being made to cover it up. And it's not just Jason saying this stuff. There are whispers coming out of high-end wellness circles in LA about so-called invisible clinics. We're talking ultra-pervo, NDA-bound therapeutic setups where elite families send their kids under assumed names and behind tinted SUV windows. And apparently, someone from Beyoncé's inner circle, a former assistant, was seen managing visits to one of these places on a weekly schedule. There's even a leaked screenshot of an itinerary using the phrase "obligations for the twins." Here's where the story starts looking less like overprotective parenting and more like calculated reputation control. Think about it. Beyoncé has built an empire on control. Every photo, every statement, every angle, it's curated like a museum exhibit. So if Sir's diagnosis is real and they've gone to these lengths to hide it, the question isn't just why, it's how far are they willing to go? Jason says he's holding onto receipts, envelope corners, timestamps, and partial scans from medical files tied to neurologists and behavioral experts in Brentwood. He hasn't dropped the full package yet, but his tone is changing. Less playful, more surgical. He's hinting at a nuclear option, and the Carters seem to know it. Multiple media insiders have confirmed that Beyoncé's team is already reaching out behind the scenes, trying to shut down any content linking Sir to health rumors. Direct emails, quiet pressure. And just when you think it couldn't get more twisted, insiders say the Carters might be preparing their own soft launch. You know those vague posts about family strength and unseen struggles? It's being called reputation insurance, a way to ease into a reveal if Jason's claims hit the fan. Some even say the Sir Davis branding move is part of it. A Trojan horse to bring Sir's name out quietly without actually saying anything. Smooth, right? But here's the real kicker. If Jason's right, and these records show the Carters have known for years, then everything changes. Because now we're not just talking about a family secret, we're talking about a decade-long campaign to protect an image, no matter the cost. There's a reason people are whispering instead of shouting. The Carter name doesn't just carry weight, it carries consequences. Talk too loud, and your career might start mysteriously drying up. One backup dancer apparently found that out the hard way. All she did was mention Sir's name in a private group chat. Weeks later, she was out. No public fallout, no controversy, just gone. That's how the Carter machine works. Quiet punishment, total control. Jason Lee says he's not afraid, that he's already burned too many bridges to turn back, and now he's escalating. Sources say he's been collecting these leaks since 2022. Screenshots, documents, itineraries. One of the most disturbing, a behavioral and cognitive summary prepared for insurance purposes. If legit, it lists specific accommodations for Sir's learning environment. Sensory breaks, social communication support, even adaptive classroom setups That's not speculation, that's planning. It's also incredibly human. And that's the part that stings the most for some fans, because while millions would rally around Beyoncé if she simply said, hey, we're navigating something as a family, the silence instead feels like shame. A lot of people, especially parents of neurodiverse kids, aren't just disappointed, they feel betrayed. Beyoncé has publicly championed mental health, self-love, and visibility for marginalized groups. But if she spent years hiding her own son's reality while selling empowerment to the world, what does that really say? And then there's Rumi, the golden twin. She's front and center, always smiling, always camera ready, already being shaped into the next Ivy Park ambassador. But what fans are starting to notice is the imbalance. She's in the spotlight not just because she's talented, but because she's easier to present. That word, easier, keeps surfacing in industry chatter. One person even overheard it at a major event. Rumi's the easier one to work with. Not more talented, not more interested, just easier. It's subtle, but it cuts deep. Because for every polished Super Bowl cameo and perfectly lit family photo, there's a missing piece. Sir's not just left out, he's removed. Photographers have described being blocked by security when Sir was nearby. Public appearances? Rare. And when they happen, the framing is precise. He's either in the background or turned away, always controlled. Even Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mom, has tried to calm the waters. In an interview, she described Sir as quiet and into books, but that only raised more questions because when it comes to the Carter family, even the simplest answers start to feel like redirections, especially when paired with a bigger puzzle. Beyoncé's refusal to even mention Sir's development. Not once. Not in documentaries, not in interviews, not in lyrics. Now, here's where things start to get really uncomfortable. Sources within elite LA school circles claim that Sir may be enrolled in a specialized learning environment under an alias. That's right, an assumed name, protected ID, and a tightly controlled circle of educators. One education consultant who's worked with celebrity families before said it wasn't uncommon, but in this case, the extra level of secrecy was next level. Special accommodations, no press access, and multiple layers of legal protection. So is this love or fear? Protecting a child is one thing, but erasing them from public life while spotlighting the other sibling, that's something else entirely. And people are noticing the cracks. Quiet conversations are turning louder. Even some of Beyoncé's most die-hard fans are starting to question the narrative. Because no matter how glossy the image, it only takes one leak to remind the world behind every brand there's a real story waiting to break through. In the middle of all this silence, there's one voice that's been impossible to ignore. Jason Lee, say what you want about his wild moments or chaotic energy, but the man knows how to find pressure points. And when he turned his attention toward the Carter twins in a now deleted social media tirade, it wasn't random. He didn't go after Beyoncé's music or Jay-Z's business moves. He went straight for the kids, specifically their minds, their capacity. He crossed a line no one talks about, and insiders say it was calculated. Two people close to West described it not as an emotional meltdown, but as strategy, controlled chaos designed to crack open the industry's silence pact. You know the one, that unspoken agreement where everyone keeps their mouth shut because they've all benefited from the system. Same yachts, same award shows, same VIP rooms. The Carter Circle isn't just insulated, it's armored. Jason's outburst shook the walls. Suddenly, DMs were lighting up. People who'd been silent started privately admitting what they'd seen, what they suspected, not because they wanted drama, but because someone finally said it out loud. And then there's Jason Lee, still holding on to those supposed documents, behavioral summaries, appointment logs, pediatric specialists, education records. Nothing's been fully released yet, but he says it's all coming, and if it does, it won't just be about Sir. It'll be about trust, about how long the public has been sold a version of reality that may have left out something crucial. Something human, and that's where the real danger lies, not just in the diagnosis, but in the years spent hiding it behind curated visuals and brand deals. This empire Beyoncé and Jay-Z built, it runs on image. Authenticity is their currency. From Blue Ivy winning Grammys to viral mom moments to songs about vulnerability and strength, they've positioned themselves as the blueprint for modern Black excellence. But what happens when that image starts to fracture? When people start wondering if the crown was polished with omission? Behind the closed doors of Rock Nation and Parkwood, conversations are already happening. Damage control scenarios, backup plans. One PR strategist called it emotional laundering, releasing soft, relatable stories to distract from the harder truths. More candid family photos, mentions of Sir in throwaway lines, anything that makes it seem like he was never hidden, just private. But that's the thing, private doesn't usually come with NDAs, sealed school records, and choreographed media lockdowns. This isn't just a celebrity parenting story. It's becoming a cultural moment, a flashpoint for how we talk about neurodiversity, family protection, and the price of perfection. If the most powerful couple in pop culture has allegedly gone to such extremes to keep one child invisible, it sends a message, whether they meant it or not. And that message, to many, reads as shame. That's what stings the most for parents out here fighting every day to normalize their kids' differences. But here's what people forget. Secrets never stay secrets. Not in this era. Not when too many people have seen too much. The cracks are spreading. The whispers are growing louder. And Jason Lee, he says he's just getting started. So now the spotlight isn't just on the stage, it's behind it. On the handlers, the PR teams, the family friends who stood silent at photo shoots, who nodded along when one child got the mic and the other was guided off camera. What happens when the veil finally lifts? When Sir isn't just a blurry face in the background, but a full story waiting to be heard? That's the question the Carters are staring down. Not whether the truth comes out, but whether they'll choose to own it or let it bury them.